Three takeaways from Atlanta United's 2-1 loss to CF Montreal here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Sydney, Tyler, Henry with you. Another loss, guys, but not just any loss. Essentially, this put us an end to Atlanta United's playoff host barring a major miracle. And I guess that's the first takeaway from tonight. Playoffs are pretty much out the window. I mean, at the very least, you have to win both of your matches coming up, but really the math doesn't really add up for Atlanta United to make it to the postseason. So just overall thoughts first off on that.
Yeah, I mean, it is frustrating because mathematically you're still in it. Mathematically, you have the most finite of chances. It's not
saying there's a chance.
Yeah, there's a chance. There's not much of a chance, and at the end of the day, like, you had to win this. When Rob Valentino said it in the press conference, like, for me, this was a must-win game. This was a must-win game, and they came out flat. Both teams kind of came out flat. I mean, they both felt each other out, kind of grew into it a little bit. You go into the half, and at least you're tied, but you didn't do enough to win. You just didn't do enough to win. It felt like you're playing to not lose, and that's not good enough when you're playing what is essentially a playoff game.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, mathematically, there's still a chance, but you would need to win out. You would need Toronto and Montreal, which are currently the teams holding that 8th and 9th spot, to essentially lose out. Toronto has you on the first tiebreaker, which is wins. There's no way Atlanta can catch up in its final two games. So yeah, first of all, you need to win 2 consecutive games, which you haven't done a lot of this season. And then you need help, a lot of help. And so, yeah, I think you can pretty much say this is a wrap for 2024 Atlanta United. Yeah, just not a good game. And it's weird because they came out differently than in their past games, in a sense of they were actually beating Montreal in shots and creating some chances. And then there was it just wasn't there in terms of the final third end product. I know there were several chances. Rios had some chances. Saba had several chances, and put some of those. Yeah, you gotta get some of those, and it's the story of the season, isn't it? You're very, very close, but you're just not good enough, and so yeah, I think it's disappointing, and especially disappointing was the amount of fans that came out today. Which, you know what, I get it. It's a weekday game. And this team isn't really doing too well, yeah. And, I think that's more of a reflection of what this team has fallen to. And it's just so sad because I remember when this team was founded and this stadium was packed no matter what. And just seeing that, it kind of ripped a piece of my soul out in a way of speaking. So it's, yeah, I hope this is really like rock bottom for this team. And I hope that there is some hope up ahead.
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree with you both. And yeah, I feel like we can just say the same things over and over again like we've said the past few weeks. And you can just play back any tape, any video, and it could apply to any real match over the past few weeks. Second takeaway, Josef Martinez. I mean, had to be him, right? Scoring twice to effectively end Atlanta United's postseason hopes. Had a chance to be in the press conference with him, the press availability with him afterwards, and he said he has much love for Atlanta United. I mean, he saw it on the field. Didn't celebrate after the first goal. He saw him bow to the crowd out of respect, and then after a second goal, he held up his fist just in respect to Atlanta United. Understandably, he said, I have to fight for my team. I have to fight for my colors, and we're happy for the win, but the love for Atlanta, was still there based on his comments.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's fitting. Josef got Atlanta to, 3 years of playoffs. Yeah. And it had to be him to come here and essentially knock Atlanta out of the playoffs because, like we said, they're out. Unless something goes really, really funny and MLS does some weird MLS stuff in the next couple weeks, they're out. And Josef did it. I mean, Josef scored 2 vintage Josef goals. One, he had an opportunity that wasn't much of an opportunity, but he had time, and he buried it. And then the second one was just classic he beat his man, good ball in, and puts it in the back of the net. And so, I mean, what else can you say? Josef is a natural-born striker. He plays his best, it seems like, when he's inside this freaking building. And he did it again tonight. And it's unfortunate for Atlanta, but it's nice to see him being successful after he moved on. It just sucks that it's against Atlanta. So,
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, and you said it best. It had to be him scoring not just once but twice. Yeah, he's just a quality goal scorer, and you know, it's poetic in a sense that he was Atlanta's savior in a sense back when he was here, and he was that guy, and you know, he's just buried them this season. And you know, it's good, like you said, it's good to see him succeeding still, you know, just balling out, and I wish him, you know, all the best. But yeah, I mean, it just this has to be rock bottom. I can't say that enough. This absolutely, you cannot come back in 2025 and have it still be this. It's just crazy to me. But I will talk about Josef's 2 goals. It just the first one seemed weird to me. Just a little, like, you know, ball over the top, and he just, I don't know if there was like a weird touch in there or something. I'd have to look it back, but you know, he brings it down, and when Josef Martinez gets the ball in the box, you just know he's going to fire it home. And the second one was a goal that we've seen him score for Atlanta how many times, man?
Right place, right time.
Right place, right time, cross, boom, put it away. And, you know, he does what he does best. And so, no, super happy for him. Congratulations to him. It's just unfortunate it had to be against Atlanta United.
Yeah, he's at double-digit goals, is that correct, after his brace against Atlanta. So, yeah, I mean, it's tough. It pretty much buries Atlanta United, but, you know, you are happy to see that success. So it's kind of a weird feeling, so to speak, for us as Atlanta fans, those that cover the team. Yeah, absolutely. Let's go to the final takeaway. I know 2 of you were in the press conference and in the locker room. Again, I was with the Montreal press availability. I had a chance to talk to Josef and Laurent Courtois, who, by the way, called Josef Martinez one of the most exciting players he's ever seen, and it's an honor to coach him. So a little quick sidebar there, going back to takeaway 2. But takeaway 3, just a move you guys are talking about, understandably, just as down as you might imagine. I know you guys talked to Daniel Rios, you talked to Derek Williams, just the air, I'm sure, felt taken out of the room. Rob said it was a must-win game, which 100% it was. But, yeah, this just feels like it's it for 2024.
Yeah, 2 things for me. Henry can talk more about Derek, but Rob first, he made the comment that he feels the same way that we do. He's like media, fans. And by the way, he said thank you to the fans. I got to throw that out there. I asked him at the very end of the press conference after the camera had shut off. It kind of was like a weird timing thing. He said thanks to the fans for coming out. He said it's been hard for the fans this year too. And so, but no, he made the comment that he feels the way that we do, that the team has been and came out today flat. They just didn't seem like they wanted it. And he said I know it's not that they don't want it, because I see them at training. I'm there at training. I'm running training. But he's like, I can see how everybody feels that way, because that's what it looks like. He wasn't happy about the 2 opportunities in the first half where the attack got stalled because a player decided to be a little too selfish and not pass the ball to their teammate.
Read between the lines.
Yeah. Well, and to be fair, it was asked, and he said, it was the one with Rios, and then he said there was another one, and I can't remember which one that was. Yeah. But and then going to the locker room, we talked to Rios, and Rios, we asked him, like, what needs to change? What do you need to do to go win these next 2 games? Like, what's the chemistry like with the front guys? And he just didn't really have an answer. It's very somber. Like, the entire locker room obviously is very somber, but he just didn't have a whole lot to say, and it was very frustrated, very, very frustrated. So it's kind of the what else can you say at this point kind of vibe.
Yeah, and you spoke to Derek Williams as well. I mean, what's kind of what he said.
Well, I want to backtrack before we talk about Derek and go kind of to Rob's press conference, because he said something that pretty much sums everything up, and he said, like, we all feel it, and I'm paraphrasing here. We all kind of feel the situation, and it's, we're all playing for our jobs, basically. And so it's like, that they understand the gravity of the situation, and they're just as frustrated, if not much more frustrated than the fans and us media are. But like, it's just, what else can you do at this point, right? Going back to Derek, I didn't catch his full, press thing. I got there kind of towards the end, and I caught a little bit, and he just sounded so down and just dejected. Like, I didn't even really get to hear what he was saying, because I was just, I got there, and he was sad about it, and he said, we have these last couple of games, right? Just gotta give it our all. And I think that's, that's been the message from everyone. It's that, they're all doing their best for the team at the moment, but I mean, the morale is just gone. And then going back to Rios, yes, I did ask him, like, how are you guys gonna, turn things around? How are y'all gonna get a result on Saturday? Because that's a must-win game now. It literally is a must-win game. And he really didn't have an answer for me. I mean, he just stood there for a sec and pondered the question, and I don't know. He was also just sad.
I'll throw this out there too. He mentioned that it's up to the coaching staff to come up with solutions, which, don't take it out of context, but also, like, there's clearly some friction and maybe just a lack of execution by everybody, because it doesn't feel like a finger pointing type of game, but it does feel like it's just disconnected everywhere. And his comment kind of played to that. And again, I'm just telling you what he said. What he meant by that, I don't know, but it was just a very interesting comment, because he's a very soft-spoken guy anyway, and that kind of came out. And I think at this point, like Henry said, the morale is just in the dumps, and so everybody's just trying to figure out, what can we do differently? Who can we blame? I'm blaming myself, but it's not just my fault, and that's just how it goes in situations like this.
I feel like Daniel Rios was really trying to kind of choose his words carefully there, because always in front of media, they are cautious. But I mean, he looked frustrated and sad, and that's the thing. I think, you're at that point of the season where, yes, it's an interim manager with an interim coaching staff. There's not much that they're going to be able to do. And I think when we realized that there wasn't going to be a new manager coming in for the rest of the season, I think we kind of accepted that, this season's probably not going to be great, right? And that's where we're at. And it's not reasonable to expect this team to make any significant tactical changes in its final 2 games over the next week and a half. That's just not going to happen. And it's just, I know it's not the fun soccer that you want to see, and I know it's not ideal, but at this point, you just got to look forward to 2025, and hopefully, the players that are giving it their all, that really feel the badge, are here for that moment, because you've just gone through this low point. Hopefully they get to see the rise again. That's just what I hope.
So before we get out of here, just a quick reminder, the American Family Insurance Camp United sweepstakes, amfam.com/United. We'll put it in the description below, but be sure to enter, get your chance at a VIP experience at the Children's Healthcare Related Training Ground, player appearances, custom kits, whole 9 yards. Again, amfam.com/United for all the details, and to enter for free. 2 more matches to go for Atlanta United in the 2024 season. Saturday against the Red Bulls, and then against Orlando City on the road to essentially end the 2024 season. But tonight, 2-1 loss to CF Montréal. Josef Martinez, a brace against his former team. Sydney, Tyler, Henry with you. Of course, let us know what you think in the comments, and we'll talk to you soon.